or a lot better. Quick question. Who has got a child who is between the age of 8 to 10 here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who's got a child between 10 to 12? Some, and then 12 and up. Who's got 13 and up? Okay, very good. Okay, so I'm talking to the right people today. So my job is for 28 years now as a teacher and head teacher and deputy principal, and I used to see very, very, very rough kids, very students who are struggling a lot and had a lot of hardship, and now I see students who like to study and have education in a selective high school, but they've got their own problems. But there's common things that happen. And the psychology of children is that a lot of things happen to them, hormonal, chemically, and physically around that age. From the age of 8, 9 up, things start changing slowly. Then all of a sudden, about 12 to 14, as you know, puberty hits, and things change rapidly, very, very, very quickly. So I teach a Year 9 class this year, and they walk in as children, and they walk out at the end of the year as young men and young ladies, and the guys have got stubble, and the girls are bigger and older, and everybody's changed. They've changed into adulthood. But the thought patterns are the same. So I'm going to go through with you with basic things that teenagers do and say, and then I'm going to give you a couple of tips at the end that I think work, that I've seen work, okay? Because what's going to happen is, as your child grows older, they feel that they don't need you as much. They still do, but they feel they don't need you as much. So what they do, the common law is that a child always fights for independence because they need to be who they are. They want to know who they are by themselves. And a parent always fights for dominance. Like, you have to listen to me. I know best. I'm your parent. You have to listen to me. So there's always that conflict that happens. So I'm going to talk to you today about how children think, what they do, what they perceive, and their common misconceptions that happen within their minds. So can you see that? That's okay? Okay, so the first one is they go through something called self of identity or sense of identity. They don't know who they are, okay? They don't know who they are. By the time they hit 9 to 10, they start trying to work out who they are. The reason why there's a big push now for social media ban, the reason why back when magazines were around, the most famous magazine was Dolly magazine or Cosmopolitan magazine with Hageti, because it's about self-image. And they know the study behind it is that teenage girls and teenage boys, but especially teenage girls, have an issue of who they are. So they give them all these magazines and they make the money off them because they want to change them, because that's the kids are exploring who they are. And that's what happens. So they start thinking like, who am I? Do my friends like me? Do people like me? What do I want to be like when I'm around them? And they start changing based on their friends. The old saying, you all know this in Arabic. My dad used to say it to me in Arabic all the time. Oli min sahabak wa na'ulak anta min. All right? Tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are. Because once they start choosing their friends, they start acting like their friends, okay? One of the biggest things, I'll talk a little bit about something that is taboo, okay? And it is about people who want to change their genders. Yeah, we've all seen this in society these days, you know, around this age, about 13, 14, 15. They start changing gender, want to change things about things like that. One of the reasons that it happens is because of social. If one person in their friend group is changing, they want to change, right? It's a compassionate thing. So we actually had somebody at our school 4 years ago, just after COVID. And it was a girl who wanted to be a boy, okay? Wanted to go, and she was 14, and she was going through that I want to be a boy stage. All of a sudden, 4 other girls started saying, I want to be a boy as well, okay? Luckily for us, that girl actually left the school, and she went to mental health issues and things like that and went. All of a sudden, those other 4 girls stopped doing that, okay? So there is something about the social thing that happens with it. So there's a lot of questions that they do where they go, do people like me? I have to act this way so someone likes me. I don't act myself. As adults, we've all learned to, the older you get, the more you think, who cares if someone likes me or doesn't like me? But when you're 12 or 10 or 13 or 14, you need to fit in. It's a social thing. You have to fit in. So they start behaving like that. So it's really, really important for you to know who their friends are. Sometimes it's easy when we're in church together and you can see them. You can see them on Sunday or Friday night like tonight. You can see who their friends are. But sometimes it's harder because you don't know who their friends at school are, who they're with all the time. So it's important for you to start knowing and understanding who their friends are. It's actually very important to do that, okay? Next one is everything is very, very, very emotional. Everything, the brain develops in a weird way, okay? When you're a fetus, your only thing that works is your heart and the inside of your brain, right? Right in the middle of the brain. It's called the reptilian brain. As you're about 2 to 3 years old, what happens with your brain is that the middle part only works, and this part here, which is the thinking part, hasn't developed yet. So you go to a 2-year-old, no, you're not having that lolly. What's a 2-year-old going to do? I want the lolly, because it's all emotional. That's all they think about, okay? All they think about is emotional. As they get older, the emotions are still very there, very heavy, but the thought pattern hasn't developed fully yet. It actually develops about 24, 25. It's fully developed at the age of 24, 25. So it still keeps going, okay? So there's a lot of emotion with kids. They do a lot of things based on their emotions. This makes me feel good. This makes me feel better. I want to try this because it makes me feel good. That is why tobacco and drugs and alcohol and things like that are very dangerous around that time of 13, 14, 15, 16 because it makes them feel good. That is why sexual relations around that time is because it makes them feel good. That's how they think. This girl makes me feel better. This boy makes me feel better, right? That's what that is there. So we've always got to be careful that when we are talking to them logically, sometimes the logic isn't there. When you're lecturing your child, you have to do this and this is better and whatever else. Yes, we need to keep doing that, but understand that that's not there yet. They don't understand that. What is more prominent, what is the biggest thing is, how do I feel? What's the feeling inside me? How do I react based on the feeling? So you've got to understand that. They've got feelings that are overtaking their thought processes. It's bigger for them, okay? So this is, and then they do something called catastrophizing. Yeah, I've got a 16-year-old girl, or 16-year-old now. She's the youngest now. So I've been through 3 of them. So I sort of understand them now. It took me a while. Okay, and she'll come back from school and she'll go to me, I wrote that because of this. She'll say things like, this is the worst day ever. And I go, ever? Really, ever? What happened today? Dad, I didn't do so well on my maths exam. It's the worst day ever. And I'm like, okay, ever? So I say things to her to tease her. I go, no, it's the worst day so far. There's worse ones later. Don't worry, all right? Like, just to upset her a bit more. Well, tuck and that's it, right? She gets over it. But the thing is, that's how they think. And you've all got kids who you've seen do this. They'll come home to you and they'll go, this is the best or this is the worst. Everything is absolute. That's how they talk because that's their emotions overtaking everything. And they can't get past that little thing that happened that they've made it so big, okay? I was actually at a conference today with all the principals and deputy principals today in a room, and we're talking about issues. And we're saying that the more we know, the smaller the issue. Okay, so if I know a lot more because we've lived longer and we've had experience and wisdom is experience, knowledge through experience, as you get, I guess, older and you've lived through things, all these things that happen are not that big, right? Okay, you didn't do so well in the maths exam, get over it, you'll do better next week, yeah? For them, because their knowledge isn't that big and their emotion is very high, that's what they know. So it's stuck in their heads. So it's a big, big, big deal for them. Is everybody okay with that? Yeah? Okay. I'm not lecturing. I'm talking. So ask me questions. I'll discuss with you. Okay? Tell me I'm wrong. I'm happy to hear that. I don't mind that. My wife tells me I'm wrong all the time. It's normal. So don't be shy, okay? Talk to me. Tell me anything at all. Don't just sit there and stare at me and go, hurry up and finish. All right? Talk to me. Yep. Thank you for talking. Yeah, go. Fadla, go. Yeah.
The overreacting, when you are dealing with the overreacting, like the example you said, it's like a kind of example that you laugh and you get over it. But sometimes the overreacting never ends.
Yes.
How can we deal with it?
So you have to break it down for them, okay? So with the overreacting, you turn around and say something like, give me an example. Give me a big, my friends aren't talking to me today, or my friends don't want to talk to me anymore. That's a big deal, right? For a teenage boy or girl, that's a very big deal. okay? So what can we do to break that down? What you have to do is go, what exactly happened? Are you sure everybody's not talking to you? What about these three girls? What about this person? Things like that. So you show them in their mind the cracks against their wall that they've built. They've built this big wall in front of them. You show them the cracks, right? You point out the cracks to them. Have you tried this? Have you tried that? So if you tell your kids what to do, you tell them what to do, they'll never listen to you. You don't know anything. In their minds, you don't know anything. What do you know? You don't know who my friends are. You don't know what I'm going through. You don't know how I'm going. That's how they talk, right? In their mind, even if they're too polite to say it to you, they think that. So we don't tell them what to do. At the teenage age, you start advising them. I think you should try this, or maybe have you thought of this, and that kind of stuff, okay? But I'll get to that point about communication a little bit later, but yes, break it down to smaller pieces for them. Because they catastrophize.
Some of the material that we have, how to make them understand their feeling, because they are confused about feeling. I'm talking about overreacting. It could be worries, it could be anxious, it could be sad, it could be anger, like a mix of feeling. So some of the material we're going to provide how to break it down, make him understand, ask him question to like identify what he's feeling, what he feels right now. This will help him organize his reaction or overwhelm.
Yeah. So the other thing as well is I should emphasize something very, very important. Teenage girls or preteen girls are very different to preteen boys and teenage boys. It's a different world. That men are from Mars, women are from Venus thing, it's actually very, very true. They have different brains. So a girl needs a lot more feelings, empathy, okay? A lot more listening. I understand, tell me more, please go on, let her talk it out. The girls need that over and over and over again, by the way, okay? They do need that. A guy, if he's telling you, if a boy's telling you, it's big, okay? Because most boys try to hide it because they want to deal with it as a young man, right? So they won't tell you. They'll go sullen, they'll go quiet, they'll withdraw, they'll be angry, they'll show you emotions like, get out of here. They'll do things like that. They'll be really frustrated, but they won't talk to you as easily, okay? If they tell you, as a boy, they want you to sit and solve it with them or solve it for them sometimes, which we shouldn't do. We shouldn't solve it for them. We should help them solve it, okay? If it's a girl, you need to listen and show the empathy and understanding and let her talk it out. There's a very, very big difference, okay? All right. So another one is social approval. It's almost the same as the last one. Am I weird? Am I strange? Everybody in my school has, let's use an easy one. Everybody in my school has hair and I don't. Am I weird? Am I different? Okay. Like obviously they've all got hair, I hope, at that age, but do you get what I mean? Everything is, so what they do is they start dressing the same, start doing the same. Okay. I still remember when I was young, I wanted to hang with my friends, and my friends, they all bought these shoes that were pointy. Yeah? Have you all seen that style before? Remember the old shoes that were pointy, looked like elf shoes sort of thing, leather shoes, nice, pointy. I've got wide feet. I put my shoes in them things, my feet in those things, I was in pain. And I was walking around like I was on high heels, but I still wore them because it was cool, right? I wanted to fit in with my friends. Do you understand that? So that's what they do. So they start acting the same, dressing the same, being the same. Go have a look at those boys inside there, and you'll notice one thing. One haircut, right? You'll notice one thing, one haircut. They got different faces, different style heads, whatever, one haircut all the way through. Why? Because they need to fit in with each other, okay? So it's very important for them to fit in. So I'm just trying to go through the emotions of what they think and what they do, and then we can talk about how we can help with that, okay? Okay, this is a big one. This is the one I said. This is where at a certain age, your child will stop talking to you. As much as you want them to talk to you, they will shut down a little bit, okay? Because they want to be treated like an adult. They want to do things that adults do, okay? They want to try different things. I'll get about trying different things in a second. You turn around and say, that's my little boy or that's my little girl. That's my baby, right? You look at them still, what are you, 9, 12, 14? You're still young. You don't know anything. I'm 50 or 45, whatever it is, right? So we look at it differently. They want to spread out. They need to spread out. They need to feel that they're not held down. So they'll start challenging you. Very, very slowly. It depends on how, like I said, dominant before. It depends on how dominant you are. But they'll start challenging you. They'll start doing things that, no, I want to go to church later. Let me sleep in today. No, I don't want to go to Uncle, Maher's house or whoever it is today. I don't want to go there with you. You go by yourself. I'll stay home. No, I don't want to go here. I want to go there. No, my friends are going to the movies. I don't need to do this with you. You know, things like that, right? They start saying that no part and they want to be more independent. They start stretching out. And then eventually what happens is if you don't, I don't want to say too much yet about communication, but if you don't keep talking to them, it breaks, it severs. And then all of a sudden you're living with somebody who, eats your food at home, opens your fridge here and there, right? And it's a different sort of story. You look at this guy, and who are you? Or this girl, like, do you live here? Hi, nice to see you, So we've got to be very careful of that, okay? Because they want to do things for themselves. They need to feel that they're adult. And it's part of life. It's part of life. We all did this. Every one of us. If you think back, how many times did you say to your parents, no, I don't want to do this? You might, back in my day, when I was younger, I'd say that and I'd expect to be hit. Now it's a bit different, okay? They say it a little bit more, yeah? Because the discipline was a lot stricter back in the old days. It's a little bit less now, as we all know, okay? Okay, next thing is teenagers especially, not pre-teens, but teenagers especially, take risks. Their mind is set now to try new things. And what they do is they try new things because they don't understand what repercussions are, okay? If I speed, I'm going to lose my license or whatever else, and I know this, yeah? Teenagers don't think of the risks. They don't think of what's happening after it. They think of the thrill, especially boys, all right? They want to try things. I still remember when I was young, back in maybe 27,000 years ago, okay, when I was a kid, I used to ride my BMX. I had a BMX bike, and I remember those old bikes. I used to ride it everywhere. I had no brakes on the thing. And I'd stop by putting my foot in the back of the tyre and slowing down that way. And I'd ride it across roads and things like that. I didn't think about it. And my parents, my dad would hit me, but then he'd turn around and say, what kind of, idiot would do that kind of stuff? Do you want to die? And I'm like, who's going to die? I know I'm not. It's okay. That's how I think, right? That's how they think now. They don't care about the repercussions. They take risks. So when you are trying to stop them from taking that risk, because you're sensible, I hope, right? You look like the bad person. You look like you're opposing them. You're angry with them. You're telling them off. You are stopping them from growing. And part of risk-taking is growing, all right? Part of being a child or a young adult and taking that risk is growing and learning from experience. They haven't had that experience, you have. But they don't want to know your experience, they want their own. So they'll fight you with that, okay? Yeah? Everybody all right with that so far? Push them off a cliff. Make them hurt themselves. No, I'm joking. Don't do this, okay? Don't do this. Now, look, with everything, it's all about guiding, okay? And it's all about talking to them over and over again and showing them things. So we had a friend of mine, his son, you probably know who it is, just before he was in a car accident not that long ago, about 2 weeks ago. Just before it, his dad goes to me, I want you to talk to, because we get along really well, talk to him about his stupid behaviour with cars. I go, I will, I'll get to it, right? And I wanted to do it and all that kind of stuff. And my talk would have been along the lines of, bro, what are you doing? This is so dangerous. Like, what? Can't you try it somewhere else? Try it here. And give him a path that's different, right? Try it. I know you want to speed the car. Okay, but go to the raceway. Pay $20 and speed there. You can do that. So I gave him an alternative, but I didn't get to it. He actually got the car accident before that. So he learned the hard way, all right? So that's what happens. They do learn, all right? Thank God he's okay, but that's what happens. But my talk is always about, yes, there's sometimes at school I say no, right? You cannot do this. And these are why, and this is the rule, and it's a hard no. But there's a lot of times where you give them an alternative. Try something different, okay? So even with something as bad as self-harm, they teach us to give them an alternative. They say if they're cutting their wrist, give them an elastic band to flick on their wrist. It's an alternative, but it's a safer one, right? That's the psychologist teaching us that. They say give the alternatives, all right? So sometimes we've got to find the right path, or sometimes we've got to let them hurt themselves slightly, right? As long as that we know that they're not going to get maimed. They're going to get hurt a little bit, and they're going to learn to pick themselves up from that, okay? And they learn from that, the experience. And so sensibility kicks in. So let's not give them a car to speed down the road with, right? But give them a safer alternative. Have you tried this? Like your son wants to skateboard across the road, right? He wants to learn how to skateboard. He's young. He wants to learn how to ride a skateboard. As an example, give him a helmet. Yeah? Okay? Try skateboarding in the skate park. Here's your helmet, right? I don't mind you skateboarding as long as you're wearing a helmet. It's a safer alternative. Do you see what I mean? So I'm giving you one off the top of my head, obviously, but think of the safer pathway, okay? Because sometimes for them to grow, the only way they grow is they take that risk. They have to try something. Yeah, they have to try, right? It's part of life. You've got to try it. It's experience.
But we shouldn't be silent about it. We have to say, this is your security, more about you, take care. And if you give him the ownership of his responsibility, he's going to be back one step or two.
Yeah.
But if you always dominant and say, don't do, he will do. So this is dangerous. I'm telling you, it is dangerous. You're going to expose to a danger. It's against his security. All of this like words and expressions to warn him, but I will leave it to you. This will give him a great warning.
Part of the risk, by the way, is going against your parents. You know that, right? The biggest risk is actually, my biggest risk when I was a child was making sure my dad didn't hit me because he wouldn't have found out, right? That was my biggest risk, right? So if my dad said a hard no, it was a hard no, right? Because I didn't want to take that much of a risk, yeah? So you can say no, don't get me wrong. You can say, if they're dangerous, say no. But if they're not being dangerous, give them a smaller alternative to not hurt themselves as much, to not be as big a risk, okay? Yeah? All right. So here's another one for you. This is a very big one, and it's a very, very big psychological issue, okay? The procrastination and things like that, it happens a lot with two different kinds of people. Ones who are lazy and they don't want to do it, and you know that. There's a lot of people like that. But the other ones are called perfectionists. So people who are very highly strung, right? Who are very, how do I say this in an easier way? People who are very, no, their brains are nervous. They're extra nervous. So people who are very nervous, okay, become perfectionists. They want to get everything perfect because their friends might talk about them or their teachers might say something or whatever it is, so they're perfect. Sometimes what happens is they try to be so perfect and they know they can't be, they don't do it at all. Okay, so let me explain that. We have a student at school who is a very good writer. She's in year 11 this year, going to year 12. Very, very good writer. The last two things, she hasn't handed anything in at all, right? So I actually have to intervene, right? That's my job. I'm like, why haven't you done this? You're going to get in trouble. You're going to get an SR, an award, all these kind of things. I go, show me, have you written anything at all? She goes, yeah. And she pulled out this bit of paper and it was perfectly written and scribbled all over, all right? But that's because she couldn't hand it in because she was so much of a perfectionist that for her, in her brain, it wasn't perfect, so she didn't hand it in, right? So you've got to be very careful. If they're being lazy, I'll do it later. Mum, I'm watching TV. Let me take the rubbish out later. That's laziness. We understand that, okay? But if they're not doing it, all right? Especially if it's something academic, find out why. Talk to them why. Take time to find out. And with everything, parents, please, I learned this the hard way. It's funny because I teach this for 28 years, no problems at all, until my own kid went for the HSC. And when my first kid went for the HSC, everything that I learned was thrown out the window because the emotion takes over. No, you have to study. What are you doing? You know, you get worried yourself, okay? And then I had to pull myself back and learn. And my wife, thank God, told me, you settle down, stop being such a teacher. You're her parent, not a teacher. Okay, so she told me to pull back because I was hurting her by doing that, yeah? So you've got to understand why the most important thing you can do as parents is listen. Listen to your child. Ask them what's going on and don't talk. Don't give them advice. Just listen. Let them tell you what it is first, because that builds trust. But I'll talk about that a little bit later. Sorry, I'll keep jumping ahead about this. Okay. Again, they turn around and think everyone's judging them. Everything they say is stupid. That's why they don't put their hand up in class. That's why they don't answer questions. They're afraid that everybody will judge them, say something about them. Okay? And that's building confidence with your child. That's teaching them that, and one of the best things we do in my classroom at school, the one that I have, is that when somebody gets it wrong, everybody's great. Let's find the right answer together, right? Because as science, that's what I teach as science, is that you have to get it wrong to fix it. My best story that I tell students, I'm going to tell you now, my best story that I tell students all the time, and my kids, is who knows what WD-40 is? WD-40, guys. Who's not heard of WD-40? Blue can, you spray it on everything, takes away rust. You all know this stuff? WD-40, yeah? WD stands for water disperser, okay? And the 40 is the 40th recipe that guy did to get it right. So he failed 39 times, okay? He failed 39 times. His number 40 is that's when he got it right, and that's when he made his millions, right? That's when he made that product. And that's what I tell my kids. It's actually okay to make a mistake as long as you learn from it. So when they make a mistake at home, as parents, excellent. What can we learn from this mistake together? What can we get out of it, okay? Make it a learning thing as opposed to a, why did you do this? You're in trouble, you know, that kind of thing, okay? So give them a chance to make a mistake, but learn from it as well. Very, very important, okay? Okay. Again, same thing. I won't go too much into it, but this is where the gossiping starts. This is where I need to fit in. I need to fit in as a teenager by talking about him or him. Because if I'm talking about him and him, then I'm cool, I fit in, and no one's talking about me, more importantly, okay? So that's why especially girls do that. Girls do it because they want to gossip, not because they want to gossip, but it's a social thing for them. It's safety for them. If I'm talking about Saher over there, I'm talking about her, then all the attention's on her, it's not on me, okay? So that's the reason behind the gossiping, okay? So we've got to teach them again the self-confidence and the reason why, and we talk to them about it. We have to say these things to them. You've got to understand that a lot of the things they do is for self-protection. No matter how wrong it is, all right, except for taking risks once, so they've got to learn, a lot of the things they do is self-protection. The bad things they do is self-protection. They talk about other people to not have anyone talking about them. They wear clothes that don't look good because everybody else is wearing them. It's a safety thing for them. It's self-protection, okay? So you've got to understand how they think. Okay. The good ones do this well, and they become curious about things, which is, again, part of life. And they start that very young, by the way. They start that 6 or 7, not 10, 12, 13, 14. And they start wanting to know, right? You all know the first question that your child asks you is why. Why this, why that, why this, why that, okay? But as they get older, the curiosity is actually really good because it gets them there. But when it's bad, that's when the alcohol kicks in, or the drugs kick in, the cigarettes kick in, or the vaping and all those kind of things you hear about, because they're curious as well. Their friends go, try it, peer pressure. I'm curious, I want to try it, and my friend tells me it's good, why don't I do it, okay? So it works like that. So these are the kind of things that you have to be educating your child about early. The dangers of these things. Be curious, but don't do anything that is against God, against parents, against our family values, all these things. You have to be training them. We should be doing that all the time. We do this in Sunday school. We do this on Friday night. You do this at home. We push it into our kids quite well, but we've got to keep doing that. Keep is the big word that I'm going to use today. Keep. We've got to keep doing that, okay? And the last one, we talked about that, and I said that at the beginning for you, about knowing that they look good because their friends are going to judge them. Very, very important, okay? So, these are the 2 big words that I want you to use today. Keep communicating is very important. When you were young, when your children were young, you were all younger at one stage, not anymore, but when you were younger, the kids were younger, you communicated with them. They'd hold your hand, you'd talk to them, you'd have conversations with them, why, they'd ask you why, you tell them why, you tell them this is no, this is right, this is good, this is bad. As they get older, like I said, they want to branch out and be independent, okay? You have to keep communicating with them. And the way you do that is this. Don't ask your child, how was your day? Because what are they going to say to you? Good. That's all they'll say. Not bad. Good. That's all you'll get out of them, okay? That's not communication. That's you being frustrated because your child's not talking to you and your child's thinking, I answered him, what's his problem? Okay? Right? That's not communication. What's communication? A better way to do it is, tell me 3 good things that happened today. Tell me 1 bad thing that happened today. All right? No. 3 good things, give it to me. And at first, I'll tell you now, they will resist that. At first, they'll be looking at you like, you've got a second head, there's something wrong with you. Okay? They will resist it. But you keep doing it, and what becomes hard at first becomes easier later. Okay? And it opens up pathways into other things. I know you had PE today. Did you play volleyball or soccer? You know, talk to me about that, okay? So questions that are a bit more open for them to answer as opposed to, how was your day? Good. Why aren't you talking to me? Talk to me. What's wrong with you? You never talk to me. And everyone gets upset, okay? So ask the right questions that lead them into a conversation and persevere with that. The key part is perseverance. Very important. Keep communicating. It's so important to do, okay? We teach our kids when they're young to pray, to communicate with God, correct? We teach them to pray, right? As they get older, we try to teach them to keep communicating with God, correct? Keep praying, it's really important. Keep talking to God, keep asking, keep thinking, all that kind of stuff. We keep doing that. So why aren't we doing that with our children for ourselves as well? It's important, okay? You have to... Very good, yeah? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The older they get, the more they appreciate that. So absolutely share your day, yeah? And give them points where it's not going to be a lecture. You know, don't make it a lecture every time you talk to them, because then they'll go, I don't want to talk to this guy or this lady. I'm not going to talk to you guys. Why would I talk to you if you're going to lecture me every time I talk to you? Okay? So give them exactly that. You know what? Today, oh man, should have seen work today. I had so much paperwork to do, but I'm so tired. That's communicating with them, right? But also other things, all right? Now, the next point I'm going to make, and my last point, is this one. Not just communicate, but connect, okay? Communication is like I'm talking to you, hi, how's your day, how's yours, yours good, blah, blah. That's communication. Connecting is doing things that they like. Do that with them, okay? Really, really, really important. You know, the biggest study these days is that the best way for a child to connect is through play. So when you're young, you play a lot with your children, right? You do a lot of things with the children, you know, like everything was a game to them, right? Then all of a sudden they hit a certain age, whether it's 10, 12, 14, 16, depends on you as a parent and it depends on them as a child. You don't play games with them anymore. So there's no more connection. Because through a game, through walking, through doing something that's different, the communication opens naturally, okay? If I sit, I'm going to use you as Abuna as an example, and I'm going to make it uncomfortable for Abuna. I'm going to sit there, and Abuna's my child, okay? How's your day? You all right? What are you doing? All right? It's very uncomfortable. Yeah, sorry, Abuna, but it's very uncomfortable. Do you get what I mean? He's affronted. He's like, what's this guy want? What does he want? But if I'm walking with Abuna, and we're walking down the road together, and I ask him the same question, because we're not facing each other directly like that and we're just walking together, he'll be able to answer a lot easier. So go to, I don't know, go to a coffee with your son or daughter, right? Go play a game with them. Like go throw a ball with them, like hit a volleyball with them over a net or ping pong if you've got it or something like that or anything like that. Go to the gym with them, you know, do things with them that they like doing. Go, on a serious note, take them for a nice chocolate and just sit there. And don't even talk to them about other things. Just say, you know, today, did you see the soccer game last week? It was awesome. Whatever. Anything that's not about them specifically. And that way you connect with them, right? And the more you connect with them and you keep, and that word keep is very important because we've connected with them in the past, right? They're our little kids, you know. They connect. They don't like what, sorry? So, yeah, but he doesn't want to talk yet, right? He's at that stage. That's what I mean by keep. You've got to open those doors again. It's really important to open those doors again. So do something with them. That's what I was about to say. Do something with him where you're not asking him direct questions. All right? Go have a coffee with your son, and what's his favourite sport? Talk about his favourite boxer or his favourite volleyball player, or his favourite soccer player, or his favourite rugby league team, or whatever it is, and just talk about something that's different, not about him or her. Okay? And that's what I mean by connecting. When you do that kind of stuff, you connect with them. The best teachers at my school make the kids want to be in that teacher's classroom because they make it fun for them. They explain things differently. They tease them. They do whatever, right? And they connect with those children. So the children like being with those teachers, and then they want to learn from those teachers because they like being with them. It's a natural thing. But when a teacher is just telling them, you must do this, this is the answer, you have to answer it this way, or that, and there's no connection, they don't want to be there. Do you see what I mean? So that's what I mean by connecting. Do something with your child that they will enjoy, and it can be a fun time for them, okay? Now, I didn't realize how important this was. I will share something that's a bit personal with me. My daughter got married last weekend, okay? And it was beautiful. It was very, very nice. And she goes to me, Dad, I want to do a daddy-daughter dance with you or whatever. So I said, that's fine. I'm happy to do that. Love it. And she put on a song, and it wasn't a slow dance or anything. It was the So Happy Together. You know that song? Like you probably don't know. But anyway, she put that song on. I looked at her, I go, why are we dancing this? She goes, Dad, you used to always sing this to me when we were kids. I go, oh, okay. And I realized the connection with her was very strong. For me, it was just like a song I sing to her while changing nappies or doing whatever else, or, you know, things like that just to keep her amused. But that was the connection she had, right? And that made me realize, it made me stop and made me almost cry, almost break down, because I'm thinking, I haven't connected with her about that for a long, long time. Do you get what I mean? So it's important to connect with them about things that they like, not things you like. And eventually, hopefully, you'll like the same thing together anyway, because you're doing it together with your children, yeah? So a walk, if they want to walk, a video game. If you want to play a video game, if they're really into FIFA or whatever, play FIFA with them once a week, right? Play with them. And then as you're doing it, you'll find that they'll be talking to you naturally anyway. They'll want to hang out with you. They'll do things with you. So the most important words I can say to you there is keep. Keep communicating, the talking. But before the talking can happen, you've got to connect. You've got to have a connection. I'm not talking to any of you if I don't know you. You ask me something private, I'm not going to tell you because I don't know you. I don't know what you're going to do with it. And more importantly, if you're my parent and I know that I'm going to tell you and you're going to tell me off, I'm not telling you anything. Why would I tell you something if I'm going to get in trouble? Does everybody understand that? Yeah? So you have to have that connection with them to make them feel safe for your communication to happen. Is everybody okay with that? Yeah? Any questions? Yes?
It's not a question, just a comment about something. What I can see sometimes, because when we ask our children, your day tell me something, they don't want to share it because they sometimes, we try to do the connecting, we try to do the communication, but sometimes they afraid that we are judging or we will go instructing them and will not leave their personal.
Excellent point. Yep.
Their personal space.
Excellent point.
This is sometimes keep a gap. Even we are trying to connect, but we are not doing it correctly. So this is just.
Excellent point. I'm an adult. I think I'm an adult anyway, right? And there are still some things I don't tell my parents because I don't want to lecture from them. Because I know my dad's that kind of person who will lecture me. So as an adult, I don't want to tell him that I'm going to move house or get a new car or anything because he'll lecture me about the right car. Do you get what I mean? Like, that's his style. That's how I believe he is. Now, we do talk, don't get me wrong. We actually love each other a lot, don't get me wrong. But as an adult, I didn't do that. So because I didn't do that as a kid with him, we didn't connect in that way with things like that. So why would I tell him something he's going to lecture me? So now think of your 10-year-old, 12-year-old, 16-year-old, right? As a 16-year-old boy or girl, why would I tell my mum something if I'm just going to get in trouble? So surprise them, right, by not saying anything. Or surprise them by saying, oh, that's interesting. Did you try this? Or what did you try? You know, not even did you try this. That's even leading. What did you try? Or how did you resolve it? Or whatever. Or what are you going to do about it? You know, and just leave it. It's hard for us. It's very, very hard for us as adults to watch our little kids fail, make mistakes. It's very hard. It's a hard thing. But if you don't do that, they won't grow. They won't learn. Okay? Do you remember that little story about, I'll share a little dumb story that I like saying. Once there was a cocoon, okay, and the cocoon obviously had a butterfly inside it, and there was a person walked by and he saw this cocoon, he saw the butterfly trying to break out of this cocoon. He saw the butterfly breaking out of the cocoon, pushing. So he felt sorry for the butterfly and he ripped the cocoon open for that butterfly, okay, to free it. He ripped the cocoon open to help it. That butterfly never, ever, ever flew. They can't fly because the reason was it needed to fight against that cocoon to make its shoulder stronger and its wings stronger to fly. Okay? So sometimes they have to fight, they have to fail, they have to do things, right, for them to grow, for them to get stronger to do it. You all know this, right? If I want to get stronger in my arms, I resist. I put resistance. I lift weights with my arms. I put resistance on my arms for them to get stronger. It's the same thing with our personalities. We have to have a little bit of resistance for them to get stronger. So don't shelter them so much and worry about them every detail they do. Let them grow. Let them experiment, but you guide them in the ways to experiment. And then when you connect with them and you communicate with them, they'll tell you how they're experimenting because they'll trust you. They'll talk to you about that. They'll trust you. And the more you do that, the more easier it is. So one of the proudest things I've ever, because I talk to my kids a lot. I like talking to them. And when one of them was 16, she goes, "Dad, everyone's having a party, whatever else, can I go?" I go, "Of course." I took her to the party, and within about 4 minutes, she called me. And she goes, "Dad, come and get me." I said, "Okay." Something happened. She got in a fight. I don't know what happened. I got up. I went around the corner. It was not far. I went back to her, and she waited there, and she goes, "Dad, they're drinking inside. I don't want to be there." I'll go, "Thank you. That's so good. Like, so good of you to be honest about it. Thank you so much. Da-da-da. Let's go have a coffee instead." And I went, and we had a coffee. And it was really nice, right? But she made that decision because she was confident enough that I wouldn't judge her that, "Oh, your friends are drinking. What are you doing?" All that, that kind of stuff, right? So you got to let them grow a little bit and understand, and then they'll mature and do the right thing as long as you guide them. Is that okay? Everybody all right with that? Any more, Abuna? Do you want me to go for anything else? Any questions? Yes. ولا الانجليش بتاعي كويس برضه ما تخافيش. It's all right.
هل يعني بسأل سؤال انه هل مثلا كويس ان انا اتكلم مع اللي في السن ده عن خبرات انا مريت بيها او حاجات خلال اليوم حصلت؟
As in your experiences? Is that yes? Yes. That's beautiful. Yeah. That's beautiful. To share with them things and let them get their opinion is actually beautiful. And what's even better is you share with them and you tell them a story. Kids learn by stories, by the way. You tell them a story without making it a lecture, okay? Because the minute you lecture, boys especially do this very well. I promise you now. A boy can look at you and nothing is going in because they've switched off from you. They don't want to hear you, but they have to be polite. So the eyes glaze over and they do that to you. You've seen it, right? You've all seen this, right? Like, it's funny because it's so true. And they do that and they glaze over. So that's because you started lecturing them. So be aware of them, okay? So what you're doing is beautiful. To talk to them and ask their opinion is very good, okay? But then if they give you the opinion, don't go, "Oh, no, that's stupid. No, I'm not doing that. That's dumb. I'm not doing that," because that just puts them down, right? Listen to them, guide them at the same time and things like that. Very important. Yeah? No. No. At one stage in your life, at one stage in everybody's life here, your child is going to know that you are not perfect. Okay? At one stage in all our lives, your child will realize mum and dad are not perfect. Okay? It's going to happen. Whether they're young, old, middle, whether it's small, whether it's big, they will realize that you are not perfect. There's a mistake with my mum and dad. Okay? It's normal. Yes. Right? And that's what happens. Because when they're very young, they look at you as a second God. Mum and dad, their protection, everything they say is right. It's absolute. Okay? As you get older, you start doing that independent thing that I talked about and wanting to grow and expand, and you realize, no, I don't think my dad did that right. I can do it better, I can do it differently, yeah? So they're gonna learn that anyway. If you're talking to them about it and showing them openness and honesty, and you're saying, I think this was wrong, I didn't do this right, they'll appreciate that more from you, no matter what, okay? So it's important to keep that going. It's a very, very good idea.
انما يقول هير يا ساهر مش المفروض نقول لاطفالنا يعني اسراري مثلا مع جوزي يعني بقول له الشغل خبراتي الروحيه بحب حاجه جربت حاجه مش الحاجات لان برضه اوقات لما بنشوف اطفالنا بيكبروا واوقات هم بيظهروا ان هم كبروا وعقلهم كبر وبنشوف احنا ان هم اكبر من سنهم بنعمل تبديل للادوار ويبقوا فريندز وناخد نصيحتهم في شويه حاجات دي في منتهى الخطوره دي في اهالي بتقع فيها ان يخلوا اولادهم انفولفد مور في حياتهم الشخصيه لايك جايدنس ولايك فريند ولايك دي في منتهى الخطوره انما نشارك الحاجات الطبيعيه اللي هي ممكن يعرف زي ما بتتكلمي مع اختك مع اخوك بس برايفت حاجات برايفتلي لا نو.
And there was another question here somewhere? No, somebody else. Go on.
What happens if you can see that they are confused, they're indecisive? It always happens 5 minutes before you leave home. You want to give them help, but you don't want to invade their personal space. You want them to ask. Can you set anything in place where you can help them through?
Absolutely. So you said two things that are important. Number one is you said that always happens 5 minutes before you leave home, right? If you don't make the time for them and they know that you're not making the time for them, they won't commit to you. Okay? So if you're looking at them going, all right, you've got a problem, tell me, hurry up. You know, they're not going to commit. They're not going to tell you, they're going to, don't worry, Dad, it's all right. Because they don't want you to feel out and they know that you're not putting time in them. But if you do the lead-ups first, you look like you're upset, I'm here if you need me, right? I'd love to talk to you about this and walk away. A lot of the times I'll come back to you. And if I don't, ask them again later. Did you resolve that thing you had? You looked upset about it 2 days ago or yesterday, you looked upset about it, did you resolve it? Is it all good now? Oh, good. Do you want to talk to me about it now that it's good? Or no? How about we talk about it? You know, things like that. So you're leading them with it, but you're not pushing them into it. Okay, so it's really important to do it that way, yeah? I have a girl at my school, and I think I've said this before to some of you here. I have a girl at my school who has very high emotions. And now she walks into my room, the way we've worked it out, the first time she did it, she was all closed off and whatever, and she walked in and sat on the floor. And I went, okay. So I went and sat on the floor next to her. And she freaked out. And she's like, she stopped crying because it was so unnatural. I just sat there and I just talked about dumb things, you know, like, oh my God, did you see that? Or, you know, I hate the colour yellow on our jerseys. We should make it green. Yeah, dumb things like that. I just talked about anything dumb. And it broke a bit of, but she didn't talk to me about it. 2 days later, she walked in and sat on the floor again. I went and sat on the floor. It was more natural for her. Okay? Now, her and I have the best conversations about anything and everything, and you can see the mental health getting a lot better because she can talk about it without judgment, yeah? So if you walk in and they know that you're going to solve it for them or tell them off about it, they won't talk to you. But if you do, like I said, talk to me. Do you want to talk to me? I'm here if you need it, and walk away. Come back a bit later. I'm still here if you need, whatever. And then you show them you're not judging, and you show them that you're trying to help them and listening first. More important than anything else, you listen first. They'll start, it becomes more organic. They start doing it more and more. Okay? So you've got to remember, guys, this won't happen today. You try the first 2-3 times, they'll look at you and go, what are you doing? It's so different. But the more you do it, the more natural it becomes. Like everything in life, okay? The more you do it, the more natural it becomes, yeah? And did you have a question? Yeah, sorry.
You keep listening, and they're happy to tell you whatever happened. And you feel you can't, انت مش عاوز تعمل لهم اي advice ولا اي judgment عشان you keep talking. What do you think about this?
So at the beginning, right, I should have explained this a little bit better. You're always their parent. You're always going to need to give them advice. You're always going to correct them if they're wrong. They're not my friend. They're my child, right? So if they do something seriously wrong, I will correct them. I will punish them. I will not punish them. I will have a consequence for their actions. There's still things that are doing as a child that they're wrong, okay? And we need to do that. But if they've got a problem and you're listening to it and you're trying to listen to it, and you know that you can gently guide them, have you tried this? Do you want to try this or whatever? It's up to you if they're old enough, obviously, right? Because the older they get, the more you guide, the more you don't tell, yeah? The more they start listening to you, okay? So the conversations I have with my daughters are very open. I still talk to them. I still tell them, I don't think this is right. Have you really thought about this properly? Think about it again, you know, and I'll just say things like that. And then that opens up conversations for talk, but that's because we had those talks when we were younger and we trust each other. So yes, there are times where you have to listen, and the times where you have to listen, you go, I don't like this, right? They're telling me something that's weird. I don't like it, but I have to listen. But there are also times you have to be a parent. You have to turn around and say, no, I'm sorry, that's wrong, but you always explain it. Don't do like our parents used to do, لا غلط مش أقول لك ليه لا, and that's it. No, it doesn't work, right? Like, you need the explanation. They need to know why, what's going on, okay? Very important.
We know ان التين تبتدي دلوقتي من 8 years و 9 years. هيخلص امتى؟
أنا لسه مستني. لسه شوية يعني كمان. To be honest, I think that the brain fully, like I said, the brain fully develops at 24, 25. They become adults legally at 18, you know, like, you know, the law and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, it depends on how you build that friendship and trust with them as well. Yeah. Where I love now, wake up in the morning having coffee with my daughters, like as adults. It's very nice. It's very, like, it's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. You do grow older with them, and at one point you realize you have to let go. There's a point now where I realize I can't tell them what to do all the time. That's not right. They're not going to listen. I have to just advise and step back and take my time. And then you learn to, don't forget, it's a two-way thing. You have to learn to trust them as much as they learn to trust you with that conversation, right? You have to know that you brought your kids up well. You've done a good job when they're younger, but you've got to keep connecting, keep communicating with them to keep them doing a good job. But you've done a good job. So you have to trust them to be good adults as well, good young adults, which is what they're trying to be. So 99% of the time, they'll get it right. They might take a longer way around, but they'll get it right. You have to trust that as well. Your way isn't always the only way. Their way could be just as correct. You know what I mean? Like with things, yeah? So we just have to have that trust as well, okay? And then let God drive. A lot of times, let him drive. Let him do it. He's got this, you know? So we've got to trust that as well. It's very important, yeah? Any other questions? بس لازم بالفرنش مش بالعربي. All right, قولي.
sometimes هما بيدوا reactions بتبقى شوية عنيفة. يعني مثلا زعيق مرة واحدة أو حاجة. أوقات بيبقى فيه hidden emotions جوه إنه مثلا shame أو إن هما مثلا متضايقين من إن حد مثلا compare them with others or حاجة زي كده. بيبقى عندهم hidden emotions بس مش عارفين how to express it. إزاي بقى إحنا نعمل control على expressions بتاعتهم اللي هي بتبقى أوقات over أو زيادة أو مش مقبولة. إزاي أنا أحاول أمسك نفسي واللي هو أتقبل الموضوع أو إنه وإزاي أعرف أتعامل معاه بحيث إن أنا ما أخسروش. يعني أنا أولاً.
That's a very hard question for more than one reason. The first reason why is because it's
لا أنا بس عايزة أعرف يعني هل أخد أكشن على اللي هو عمله ولا إن أنا.
Look, my answer is your personality. Everybody's personality here is different. فاللي أنا أعمله مش ما شغليش for you. It won't work for you. Do you know what I mean? You have to have your own style as well. So I joke. أنا بضحكهم وأقول حاجات هبالة وما أعرف شيء because that's my style. That might not work for you. Do you see what I mean? So you have to know your own style as well. But ultimately, again, I can't stress this enough. It's not once, twice, 3 times. It's ongoing. So the more it is, the more normal it is. So the more you talk to them now and communicate and connect with them, the more they'll tell you later about things like this, okay? And then don't forget, things like this will always happen. I don't look as good as her or him, or they've got more hair than me, or anything, not you, just me, just but they'll do that kind of stuff, right? But it's normal, okay? You have to let them go through that emotion sometimes too. They have to feel it. Yani, it's normal, part of life. We all have feelings. We all have emotions. We have to go through it. You have to be there to guide, to hold their hand when they need it, to sit next to them, and to show them the path without pushing them into it. That's the only way I can say it. How you do it is different. أنا بقول لك أنا بضحكهم. أنا بقول هبالة معهم, right? And they're used to that. أمهم بتكلمهم in a different way. أنا بعمل كذا 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 هكذا. She doesn't.
كل الناس بتتقبل مثلا ان هي تقبل حاجه زي كده او الانفعال بتاعها. مثلا انا ممكن يكون بالي طويل، حد تاني باله مش طويل، اللي هو انا ما اسمحش ان هي تقول كده. لو احنا اتكلمنا معاها بالطريقه دي، او ان احنا علقنا على كل موقف، لانه اوقات كتير بيبقى انفعالهم خلال طول اليوم، منفعل طول اليوم ومنفعل وكلام كتير، خبط حاجات عماله بتطلع دبش.
منك ولا منهم؟ من ناس ثانيه؟
منهم، من السن ده.
Yeah.
فازاي اكونترول ماي سيلف بس بحيث ان انا اعرف يعني اوصل للمشاعر اللي جوه وازاي اتحكم في اعصابي.
It's hard. It's not.
Can I just answer you to that? It all comes back to communication. I do have 3 teenagers, and it's hard. And sometimes it's just about saying, child one, you've been doing this all day to me, and it's hard. Like, I am exhausted. I don't deserve to be treated that way. It's actually making me upset. I know you've had a hard day. I know you're feeling upset because of X, Y, Z. And I know the world out there is evil. But I'm not bad to you. So just give me a break because I've had enough today. Can we talk about it tomorrow? I know you're really upset. Let's read a Bible verse. You know what? Let's get the Bible open and let's see what God sent us. Just one verse. And it just breaks it. And as he said, everybody's style is different. But it's actually just communicating how you feel makes it so much better. Letting the child know that I am also a person. I have feelings, I have tolerance, I have emotions, I have all this to deal with just the same as you. I will bear all that you give me because I love you, but sometimes I've got a limit as well. And today, I've had enough. You've been going at me all day. Let's just leave it for today. So it's communication. It all comes back to communication as a key factor. That's just my thoughts.
Very good. No, very good. I love that. I'm just going to add one more thing, because Bruno's looking at his watch, so I get the message. One more thing is, we say this to our kids. We do this. Do as I say, don't do as I do. Okay? We do this a lot. Maybe we don't say it out loud, but we do that to them. So as an example, if I'm a smoker and I smoke and I go to my kids, smoking is so bad, never do it. What are they going to do? They're going to smoke. Okay? So what I'm saying to you is that we as parents have to lead by example. If you walk in the house and you're angry and frustrated and you show that, okay, they're going to walk in the house and be angry and frustrated. If you walk in the house laughing and joking, 9 times out of 10, they'll walk into the house learning to laugh and joke. Does everybody understand that logic? So do as I say, don't do as I do is the most rubbish thing that we do as parents. Do this, I'm going to do it differently, right? You go study, I'm going to go sit on the TV and watch TV for 2 hours. Why am I going to study, right? So don't do that. Do as I say, don't do as I do is the worst thing we can do. So in other words, we have to lead by example. You want them to read the Bible, you read the Bible. Don't go tell them go read the Bible. That never works, right? You go do this. No, that's not fair. Do it with them. You read it first, right? You want them to exercise, you exercise. You want them to eat right, you eat right. You know, all those kind of things, okay? That's how it works. So don't tell them one thing and contradict them with your actions. Very important, okay? Because if you're doing that, they're going to watch what you do, not listen to you. Okay? So it's very, very important. Okay, yes?
لما الولاد بيعترضوا كتير علينا ما نحولش الموضوع لانه انت صح وانت غلط. يعني زي مثلا الكومنت اللي كان بيتقال على انه الولاد بتعمل حاجات واحنا شايفين انها غلط ومنرفزانا وعايزين نتدخل، او هم اجريسيف جدا لينا مثلا في مواقف واحنا مش عارفين نتدخل. I think انه في حاجه قبل ما احط consequences او هي هحطها as a parent، بس دي هتبقى مثلا لو بنتكلم في سكيل 10 دي المفروض ان انا ما اوصلهاش قبل ما اجيب 8 من 10، مش المفروض ان انا اخدها 3 من 10. لانه في ستيبس كتيره قبل ده. one of these steps ان انا اسال الطفل او الولد ده، طيب انت شايف ان اللي انت بتعمله ده صح؟ get them يعني يبقوا عندهم
To
self
reflect.
awareness
Yeah. To reflect, correct.
بالظبط reflect و self awareness. اللي انت بتعمله ده صح؟ طب انت شايف ان التصرف ده كان صح؟ طب لو الموقف ده حصل بشكل تاني انت شايف ايه؟ تعمل ايه؟ احنا لو احنا بانيين البيس صح من الاول، انا ما بتكلمش على حد كان سايب ولاده خالص وهم صغيرين، انا بتكلم على حد خلاص حط البيز واحنا في اللخبطه بتاعت سن التين ايج. خلاص هم عارفين البيزكس، عرفوا مننا وسمعوا وفهموا، خلاص نسيب لهم بقى الفرصه ان هم اللي يطلعوا الكلام مش احنا اللي نمليهم يقولوا ايه. لانه لو انا اللي مليت اول انسر هتجيلي هتبقى نو مش هعمل، في عند هيدخل في الموضوع. لكن لما جاست I'm opening questions كده واسيبها لهم، هم يحسوا ان هم كبار ويبتدوا يشتغلوا.
Very good. It's very, very good. The last thing is, if it doesn't work, في شبشب لسه ها؟ ما نسوش كده. All right. All right. خلاص. Thank you so much, guys.
This is what's good about Saher. He has the
comment at the end.
the two cultures, the Egyptian one and the Australian one. احنا بنقول له مبروك عشان هو جوز بنته الكبيرة. ألف مبروك يا ساهر. May God bless her and bless you. Yeah. Guys, as long as Saher stressed about communication, okay, I wanna communicate with you. ماشي؟ بعتنا لكم سيرفي. اوكي؟ بعتنا السيرفي 13 مرة، لا مش 13 مرة، مرتين ثلاثة. ميرسي ربنا يخليك يا حبيبي. ثانك يو سو ماتش. بصي اقول لكم ايه القصة ورا السيرفي دوت. احنا عاوزين نبقى فاهمين ولادنا في انهي حتة، ايه اللي بيستفيدوا منه، ايه اللي مش بيستفيدوا منه، عشان احنا نجهز برامجنا قدام، وعشان احنا هنرفع ريكومنديشن للكنيسه، مدارس الاحد، اليوسف كرايست، الاكتيفيتي، الحاجات اللي ناقصه. واخدين بالكم؟ احنا عينه، ركزوا معايا لو سمحتوا 5 دقايق بس، اقل من 5 دقايق. احنا عينه يعني مهمه في المجتمع الكنسي في كنيسه العطر، واولادنا بارتيسيبيتنج في حاجات كتيره، وانتوا بارتيسيبيتنج في حاجات كتيره. فعاوزين نستفيد من الميزه دي، ان احنا بقى عندنا رؤيه واضحه ولادنا فين، بيحبوا ايه، بيكرهوا ايه، ايه اللي بيتمنوه، ايه اللي بيعملوه كده. عاوزين احنا نعرف عشان نخدمهم ونخدمكم، وعشان نخلي الكنيسه توجه اتجاهها لخدمتهم صح. دي اول حاجه. انا مصر ان اللي يقدر، طبعا دي حاجه برايفت جدا واللي مش عاوز ما يملاهوش، انا مصر اللي يقدر يملاه. ان شاء الله يا ساره تملي نصه مش مشكله. ها؟ اللي تقولي بيه يا سوس، من فضلكم ساعدونا. احنا عملنا ديزاين لكورس كامل في a lot of stuff هتفيدكم جدا، واحنا استفدنا واحنا بنحضره. فالسيرفي مهم بالنسبه لنا. ماشي؟ وهنفاجئكم المره الجايه بماتيريالز رائعه. ولو تجاوبتوا مع الماتيريالز دي هبعت لكم السورس كله، انا اشتريته من الانترنت. دي بالكم؟ شفتيه انت يا سيرجا صح؟ رائع يعني. ازاي تساعدك انك انت تكومينيكيت وتبقى ويل بيهيفد وتساعد ابنك والى اخره. فمن فضلكم السيرفي دي حاجه مهمه قوي. الحاجه الثانيه في الكوميونيكيشن ان انا عاوزكم تعلقوا على المحاضره، سواء كان فيربالي واحنا مع بعضينا، سواء كان ان برايفت مسج اهلا وسهلا، سواء كان في الجروب. يعني فيل فري تعلق بقى، تقول المحاضره طويله، تقول قصيره، تقول عميقه، تقول سطحيه، قول عشان نعرف احنا فين.